Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. On the show, we interview other writers and we talk about mental health from their personal journeys. If you have not already hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead, do that now so that you never miss an episode. Today with us, we have SG. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Randy. Thank you for asking.
And where are you joining us from?
San Diego, California. It's not as sunny as it sounds. It's very gloomy right now. It even rained today, atrocities of atrocity, but we
It's
survived.
it's trying to rain right now for me. I can see the wind is picked up. Like this morning, I walked my dogs, shorts and a t-shirt. Now I got a sweater on because I'm freezing. The temperature just dropped. The wind picked up. Oh, not impressed. Not impressed at all. But well, self-promotion here for a sec before I get started. My sweater that I am wearing just came in today, and it's one of the new merch designs.
Nice.
So just had to give that little promo there because it's so soft too. Like I'm really pleased with this one. I haven't done this type of sweater yet. It's the premium hoodie and loving it.
That's awesome.
Anyways, tell us a little bit about who SG is.
Well, my name is S.G. Blaise, and I'm a sci-fi fantasy author of the award-winning Last Luminian saga with 3 books out and the fourth coming this December. It's insane. I blinked and
Wow,
already 4 books out, almost.
that's crazy. It is kind of amazing how like once you get the one out, then it's like let's just keep going. Okay, but that's what you do. So who are you though?
Well, I was born and raised in Hungary, and I ended up in California in 2008. And it's been a crazy journey of learning English, learning how to write a book, raising a boy who's 18 right now, which again, where did time go? And
Right.
just enjoying that I get to see my dream come true and follow my passion every single day. It is so special. I just never thought I'm going to do it in English.
Well, you know what? Like I hear the accent, but other than that, your English is perfect. So
Awesome. Thank you, Randy. I love you already.
thanks. And I'm loving the cover to this one. Is this the first in the series or
That's correct. The Last Luminian is the first one that started it all. It came to me in a
excellent?
dream. And now I'm just living that dream and my dream of writing. There's a lot of dream going on here.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually reading this. So, of course, everybody be sure to follow my blog because I will be doing the book review for SG's book when it gets to the top of the list. But I love summertime. I love copy books because I can sit in my backyard, enjoy the sun, read the book. So, that is what I'm looking forward to when with this one.
I love the sound of it, Randy.
Okay, so basically just start your story. We're going to move on to the mental health. Start your story wherever makes the most sense to start.
Absolutely. In 2012, I was on this cross-country European road trip with the family being on vacation. When I woke up in Australia, jet lagged in the middle of the night, and I had this burning idea that I had to write down that I knew it's going to span for multiple books. I didn't think it's going to be 10. I thought it's going to be 3, but that's neither here nor there. So, I had this idea. I wrote it down, and I did nothing with it for a whole year. From 2012 to 2013, I agonized. It's hard to get published. It's hard to write a book. It's hard to get published. And I just kept agonizing over and over. My poor family was the sounding board for this.
All that
Excuse me.
self-doubt.
All
Oh,
that
yes.
self-doubt, right? And at some point, my husband said it was 2013. I think it was March when he said, please stop complaining, sit down and write. Best golden advice I ever heard. And literally couldn't get out of from that chair, Randy, for almost a whole month. I don't know how my son got to school and how I picked him up. Somehow I must have remembered the basics, but it was like the floodgates opened. I couldn't stop writing. I wrote 150 pages and I looked up and I said, wow, this is horrifyingly bad. What can I do to make this better? Well, because I didn't know how to write a book. So that started me on this amazing writing journey in 2013, 10 years ago, that has all these ups and downs, but it's just phenomenal how much it makes you learn who you are. You accomplish so many mini milestones. Oh my gosh, don't get me started, Randy. Don't get me started.
Right? I hear ya. Okay, so what during this time, what mental health were you dealing with? Like obviously the self-doubt, which I think spans everybody everywhere, but I feel like because I talk to a lot of authors, we have that a lot,
Mhm.
right? That and the industry has changed so much over the years where like you had to go to traditional publishing to now it's very easy to self-publish, but of course you have to market yourself and it's a lot.
It's a
Um, right? So other than the self-doubt, what else was happening for you?
definitely the anxiety, without even realizing I had a name for it. There was this worry and anxiety going on. First of all, do I have the talent? Right? How do I know I'm talented? I didn't even dare to say the word I'm a writer because it's a sentence, not a word, because I was so scared to say it out loud because what if people judge me? Everyone wants to be a writer, right? What are they gonna think? If they read my book, are they gonna see into my mind? Are they gonna see who I am? How do I know that this story that I picked is worth spending 6 years on it? How do I know I'm doing the right way to write this story? So all these thoughts just kept coming and coming and coming. And there's really no one to tell you the answers because, in the first few years, we learn how to write a book simultaneously as we're creating something artistic. So we don't have the audience quite yet. We don't have the readers. We may not even have the support system. Thank God my family was 100% on my side. So that was one worry less. But it just took this whole 6 years was all about, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it the right way? A lot of thoughts, imposter syndrome, that was the hardest to get over. And just believe in yourself, and because
Mhm.
you don't have that feedback. You don't have a boss who would tell you on one-on-one, you're doing great, keep going. You don't have HR supporting you to say, this is great, keep going. So you
Right?
have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be the one who says, I believe in myself. This is awesome. This is what I wanted to do. Gotta keep going. Page by page, book by book, right? Version by version. And put in that hard work in the beginning because every revision that you do from blank page is gonna make you a fantastic writer because it takes 100,000 hours or something or 10,000 hours to become an expert in doing
Yeah, a
something.
lot. A lot.
It's a lot, right? And even someone said that actually it's more if you do something difficult or less if you, for example, just want to drink 8 glasses of water. You're not gonna need 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
But if you try to write a book, you're gonna need probably years to get that story polished, to learn who you are as a writer, to find your writing voice. So just give yourself that kindness. Don't be too hard on yourself because we are our own worst critique.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. And when you were saying that you couldn't say that I am a writer, had flashbacks to when I first published my first book. And I was like, yeah, I used to tell people I wrote a book, but I was not a writer. I was not an author. I wrote something. I published something. But that wasn't who I was. That wasn't what I do. Now when I talk to people, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an author. I've written like over 10 books, blah blah blah, right? Um, but there is that mindset at the beginning of I did it, but I'm not really that, right?
Yeah,
I only
yeah.
sold a couple books, like whatever it happens to be. We are totally our worst critics. You are so right.
Unfortunately, right? And there is this scientific proof that when you have negative thoughts, when you criticize yourself, you can be creative at the same time. So you'd absolutely have to have that positive mindset. I'm not gonna say a lot about that because I know not everyone likes to hear that word, but it is so true. You cannot be creative if you're telling yourself, this is not good, I'm not good. You know, those thoughts will absolutely kill creativity. In fact, how many people suffer from writing block because of that? It's not
Oh,
about
yeah.
what they're doing, but it's because they have these thoughts, this is not good, I'm not a good writer, right? So let me be the first to say you're amazing.
Thank you.
Keep writing. It's okay to walk away from that manuscript for a month or two and not think about it because you need to get that fresh set of eyes to look at it from a different perspective. When we get this close, we can't see the story, we can't see what's happening. So don't try to edit when you're doing creative work. Let that first draft just throw up on the page, excuse my French, just whatever comes, doesn't matter. If there is no shape, form, doesn't matter. Don't even hit an enter, doesn't matter. Just get it on the page, get it out, see what story intrigues you. And then the next round, see if there is structural things you need to go back and fix, right? Editing, I love editing, but
Oh,
that's
I
because
hate editing. Oh,
you learn how to do it, right? And it's hard to learn how to do it the right way without killing your creativity, right?
okay. So when you were saying that, some more flashbacks happening. So when I wrote Embracing Me, I was in a really bad spot. I was super depressed when I first started writing that one. And the first draft was crap
Oh,
because as you were saying, when you have all that negativity, you can't be creative. And that's how the first draft went. It was just horrible because I wasn't in a good mindset. So what I was writing was not anywhere near the purpose of what I wanted the book to do. So anybody who's read that one, the first draft was basically just garbage. I pretty much just hit delete, and that was that book. Um, so when you were saying that, I mean, if there is a scientific study out there, I mean, anecdotally so, yes, I get 100% that has happened to me. That when it was negative, the writing just did not work. And I had to get into a place of positivity, or at least non-negative, at least a neutral zone in order for the juices to really flow and get to a good content for the book.
absolutely. And sometimes, the other aspect of writing block, I don't know, it's a big topic to talk
Oh,
about, just
yes.
just my 2 cents. Sometimes it's our brain telling us we need to slow down here. We may need to learn something about how to express our art. That could be a writing tool. I'm a huge fan of some form of structure because that gives the skeleton of the story. Whatever you put on, that's your art. But it's basically having tools that you can pick and choose so that you can tell your story the best possible way. So I feel like our brain knows that something's happening in the story. Maybe the characters are not behaving the way they should, or maybe the goal started to go different direction than it's supposed to. Our brain picks up on these things and it kind of puts on the brakes, and you
Mm-hmm.
stop. And when you take a step back, go gardening, go for a walk, spend a week somewhere else, just do something different, that's when the ideas start to come. And that's when the writing block is going to start dissolve naturally and organically
Mm-hmm.
because you realize maybe this is what would work here, and boom, it works.
Yep. I've done a lot of interviews on other people's shows, and one of the popular questions that is asked is,
Mhm.
do you write every single day? My answer has always been no, because of exactly what you just said. Why am I going to sit in front of the computer and write when I'm not mentally there? So
Exactly.
I write when I feel creative. What about you?
Absolutely. I'm 100% agree with you, Randy, because you can't force this. The more you stare at that blank page, the more you create that Pavlovian reflex of you're not in the mood, you're frustrated, and it creates this negative circle, negative feedback loop that literally just feeds on itself. So you can write every day in a different way. You can read a how-to book. That's writing. You can spend a couple of days on your world building. That's a couple of months for me, right? You can do so many things that creates a positive forward momentum that still, relates to your work, your manuscript, that you don't have to ever force it. And one of the biggest and best advice I could give anyone who struggles with that blank page is do writing prompts. Writing prompts train your brain to write when you sit down. You write for a specific time. I usually do 15 minutes. That often turns into 45 minutes or an hour because I don't stop until I'm done. I reach that point when it's done. But because you do this all the time, now when you look at your notes, you look at your structural, pointers, they're going to become writing prompts. And that will help you to get into that mood of I sit down, I write, and then I'm done and I walk away. And you don't agonize, you don't edit, you don't judge, because writing prompts, you just flow. You just have the words flow. If it's half a page, 3-page, 20-page, doesn't matter, right? You train your brain that when you sit down, this is going to be fun. You're going to do it, and it's going to work like that.
Yeah, I don't think any author does it because it's not fun, right? Like we do it because we like to do it. So when it becomes tedious, when it becomes a chore, we need a break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I that was one of the things I decided early on, even when I had no idea what structure is, how to use quotation mark for dialogue. I didn't know that. We have dashes, by the way, in Hungary. So yeah, and I was like, what is this? He said, why is it lowercase? Don't get me started. So even before, it's a
So
completely
you not only had to learn a new language, because it didn't dawn on me that not only that you had to learn the new language, but you had to learn the grammatical, those parts. Like I just figured everybody used quotations. I didn't realize that was an English language thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when do you capitalize the he said or she said? Why is it said? Everything, it was brand new to me. My son already knows the basics, right? That's gets you to a good foundation. But to go back to the beginning, I remember deciding that I'm not going to look at writing as chore. Because the second you approach writing as it's hard, it's difficult, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was my passion. This is what I wanted to do since I was 10 years old. So if I love what I do and I put all that love into my work, it will come through the words and through the stories, because readers pick up on that. If you cook a meal and you do it with, I don't want to do it, it's gonna taste horrifyingly bad because it's gonna be over salted. Maybe you put sugar instead of salt because we're not paying attention. It can get really difficult and not so nice results, right? So having that attitude of love what you do, enjoy what you do, find one or two aspects of why this is fun. To me, it was because this is my dream come true. If it's my dream come true, it cannot be difficult. It can be challenging.
Yeah.
But when we overcome challenges, we're that much better. So it's all about that first approach. I tell my son too, if you do your homework and you hate it, it's going to take 4 hours and you're going to suffer through every second. Not to be preachy.
It's true though. Like there's days that I'm trying to help my kid with his homework. So he's 16.
Oh,
and
that's a great age.
Right. And it's, he's yelling and screaming, oh, this is too hard. I don't want to do it. Da, 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 da. And then once he gets over this whole yelling match that's taken 20 minutes, he does the actual work in 5. I'm like, you could have been done so long ago if you would have just got out of your head and just did it.
Yeah, and this is why writing is such an amazing job, because psychology and philosophy goes hand in hand. And one of the psychological aspect is, I'm a huge fan of pop psychology, is that how we can convince ourselves, how we can train our brain to enjoy what we do. And it is a training. And it starts with fake it till you make it. It's one of the most amazing advice I've heard, because if you don't feel smiling, but you start smiling, it might get you into a better mood. May not work all the time, right? But if you have a couple of resources, couple of tips and tools you can try out, see what works for you, right? You don't have to go around and say, I love what I'm doing. And meanwhile, it's like, it's not true. You don't have to do that. But if you can find one thing that you love, maybe you love what the sound your keyboard makes, right? Whatever is that small thing that you can enjoy, or you love seeing the words fill up the page, whatever it is that you can sign up for, that will help you to get into that mental state of positive and enjoying what you're doing. And it's gonna keep getting better and better with each draft.
That's awesome. My mom used to always tell me fake it till you make it when I was younger. And I would roll my eyes so hard. I'm like, okay, mom, okay. And I still have mixed feelings about that only because, when I'm depressed, fake it so you make it
Yeah.
ain't gonna get me out of it. But with writing, you're absolutely right. I've definitely done the fake it so you make it where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna sit down and for me, writing poems often gets the juices flowing. I'm like, I'm just gonna try and get a poem out. And then as I'm doing, I'm like, oh, I am feeling better because this is fun. I like this. This is good. But yeah, I have mixed feelings. It depends on the situation for me. But oh, my mom used to preach that fake it till you make it all the time.
Well, you're gonna laugh, Randy. I never heard that saying until I came to America. So to me, it's brand new.
Oh, there you go. There you
Within that
go.
positivity approach, well, at least remember, I left the country around 2001, which was very difficult year on its own. That's when I moved to Boston, actually, because we lived there for 5 years. So all these things are new to me. I never heard of that saying. I don't think we had the positivity mentality at the time.
Okay.
Maybe it just started. A lot of things just started when I moved away. So now when I
Okay.
go back, they're like, oh yes, we have taco. Yes, we have Alfredo sauce. I never had that. So
Really?
yes,
Wow.
I didn't get to enjoy that when I left. So to me, it's like brand new. Everything was like wonderful and amazing. But you're absolutely right. Generalization is one of the worst thing we can do. So that's why I like to say tips.
Yes.
Look at it as these are the tips. If it don't work, if it doesn't work, excuse me, if it makes the situation worse, oh my goodness, walk away. Do not try to force it because as G said that you have to fake it till you make it. Please don't do that because you never know what's the underlying cause. It could be, you're having a depressing day for whatever reason, right? Please take care of yourself.
Yeah.
There are other things to do, to be kind to yourself and to help you to get over that situation that day. And it's perfectly fine to not sit in front of that blank page, watching the cursor blinking,
Yes.
waiting for the muse to sing to you. It's okay to still be a writer and not work on your manuscript for a couple of weeks or even a couple of months. In the beginning, you'll find that the windows of not working is going to be bigger than the when you're working. But often you might be going to a writer's conference or you're reading how-to books. You're trying to find what works for you. And then you're going to find your routine. And it's going to happen. And once you have your routine, you're going to realize there is a pre-publishing routine.
Yes.
After publishing routine, if you set a goal, say you would like to have a book a year out, that's going to accelerate everything you did and have to find a way of, okay, how much time I need for editing, how much time I need to writing, how much time I need to developing. You're going to figure it out. And it might take a book or two, don't freak out. It's perfectly fine to not have it done perfectly in the first 2 or 3 books.
Yeah, I still don't got it down perfect, and I'm oodles of books in. So there you
Changes.
go.
And you know what's interesting? Because you change as a person. I firmly believe that when you write your book, you become a better person because you learn. You discover something about who you are. Maybe you heal because there was something traumatic in your past and you deal with it. Maybe that's the only way you can deal with it, right? So writing is really, really an amazing healing therapeutic approach without even us knowing what we're doing. It happens and you will become a better person because you're doing something that only authors know how difficult it is. And I don't
Yeah.
like to use that word because no reader should ever hear that word. So this is only between us, authors. But I see you. I see how hard it is. And I see you turning your hardship into fun and making the best out of it. It really is an amazing process, and everyone will become a better person one way or another.
I love that. That's the perfect sort of spot to move on to tell us about your book a little bit more. So I know that this is the first one, everybody. If you're watching it, you can see. If you're listening, I'm sorry, but the cover is super pretty, so you should look it up.
Thank you, Randy.
So
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. I like to say if you enjoy Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings and Princess Bride, you might enjoy The Last Luminian. It's about a 19-year-old sassy princess who must defeat the Dark God before he finds her, the Last Luminian. And that's just book one.
Ooh, I love that it's a sassy print. I love
Right? We all
sass.
need some fun.
Yeah,
I love humor. I love romance in the book. So we have to have a little bit of everything. It's PG-14, clean language, no cliffhangers. The main hero does deal with claustrophobia-induced panic attacks. And she shows the readers, she shows you that it's not the central problem. And she can overcome in certain ways over that and still achieve her goal.
oh, that's awesome. And so you said there's three currently out?
That's correct.
Okay.
True Taryn is the second one where she must acquire the army, and it's not as easy as it sounds. And the Proud
Never
Pada,
is.
it never is. Proud Pada is the third one where she is on a trail of a ruthless murderer trying to prevent the Taryn Empire of imploding into a civil war.
Ooh. And now
Again,
this,
that is easy.
no. And so this fourth one, when does it come out?
It's coming out in December. I haven't even revealed the cover yet. So it's coming, but it's with a different character. So can't wait to see what everyone thinks about it.
Oh, that's exciting. So it's perfect. If you get your three read now, then by the time you read them, the fourth one will be out in December.
Exactly. Ready for binge reading, as I like to say.
Yeah. And a perfect time for Christmas gift. And
I like how you roll, Randy. Can you please come with me to the San Diego Comic-Con? I would love
I'll
for
be
you
there.
to spread the word.
It might be a little far for me. I'm bad with geography, but I'm pretty sure San Diego would be at least an airplane ride from here.
Yeah, you can do it.
Excellent. And so where do we pick up these books?
They're available on Amazon, Kobo, Google, the usual suspects, barnesandnoble.com. So ebook are available pretty much everywhere. Paperback is usually Amazon, Barnes and Noble, probably Google, the big,
Oh yeah.
marketplaces. And we also have audiobooks of all three, although the Proud Pada for some reason is not on Amazon, not on Audible, but it's available everywhere else. So we're
Weird.
working on to fixing that technical issue.
I love audiobooks.
Right? The best.
Yeah. I'm working on getting all of my books done into audio. So far I've done one. It's a process. It really is. And it's a whole new learning experience, right?
Absolutely. It's the business side of publishing.
Yes. Ugh, that's the side I don't like.
Yeah, that's the hard one because we're creatives, right? That's a
Yes,
different head, a different thinking. So don't mix the two. If I can give
right?
you one advice, don't mix the two. Unless it works for you, then by all means.
Yeah, yeah. And so where do we follow you?
I'm on Instagram as SG Blaise Author, official, and then on Twitter, SG Blaise Author, and then Facebook, we have the Last Lumanian commercial page, and of course my website, the sgblaise.com, where everyone can sign up for a newsletter, and you get exclusive first look of the next book, cover reveals, and every newsletter has something free to download related to the book series.
Oh, that's
Highly
cool.
recommend to join.
So I just followed you on Instagram. Everybody can see what
Thank
it
you,
looks like.
Randy.
There we go.
SG Blaze official. That's the one.
Just followed you.
Thank you. I'll
Um,
follow back.
Perfect. So is there any last words that you want to leave the audience with?
Is just be kind to yourself. Keep going every day, page by page, day by day. You will get there. It's not the time that it matters. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And you're gonna see so many amazing mini milestones that I hope you celebrate it. Because by the time you get to publishing, you realize there is so much more to do, and this journey will take you to unexpected places.
Wonderful. So thank you so much again, SG Blaise, for being on the show. And everybody go check out her social media, grab the books, look forward to my review when I get there because I'm going to be reading it in the sun. Um, maybe that means I'll love it even more just because of the sun. No, I'm going to love it anyways, I'm sure.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Randy, for having me.
You're so welcome. Bye. As always, thank you so much for the amazing guests that we have on the show. Be sure to check out their links down in the description below. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and check out our merch store. We've got some very cool things on there. That's my favorite. Sorry, I'm busy ending the stigma. But there's some other very cool designs. 10% of the proceeds always goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at RB Media because we have some great new shows coming up and you never want to miss any of those episodes. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.